Hi everyone, my name is Sally and I'm a mixed media artist in Australia, and I just finished my sketchbook. So let's have a look. Very first full-length video that I posted on this channel was another sketchbook tour. When this video is being posted, it will almost be exactly 1 year since I posted that, which means 1 year of this channel making videos. It's been a really incredible year of ups and lots of downs, and a lot of that is reflected in my sketchbook and the work that I've been doing over the last 12 months. So I'm really excited to share it all with you. My Ko-fi members get a look at my sketchbook pages as I complete them in member-only posts on the platform. So if you would like to check that out and have a look at the tiers, you can get zines and art prints sent to you every month. I'll have that information linked down below, and I want to thank my members for all your support and being incredible always. Let's have a look at all the art that I made. My sketchbook is the Strathmore mixed media, and I absolutely love the pages and the paper quality in this. It holds a lot of media, wet media really well. It's great for mixed, it's a great mixed media sketchbook. And I've got a few stickers on the front. We have Black Match Candles, which is my friend's amazing candle company in South Australia. And then we have the little Miffy Free Palestine printing stickers, Resist to Exist, From the River to the Sea. Love those guys. And this is a sticker I made from some coasters that I painted. I painted up some coasters for an art market. I made a video about that. And then I ended up turning a bunch of them into stickers. So I started this sketchbook in March of last year and finished it in February. So it was almost exactly a year it took me to fill this one. And I started the first page with a master study of a John Williams Waterhouse painting. And I did make a video about this if you'd like to check that out. It was really challenging, but I learnt a lot. Here was me experimenting with some designs for block prints and doing lino carving, and I also made a video about this, and I ended up turning that little cat into an unofficial logo. He's on some of the stickers for my packaging. And then I had some stamps made up, so I was testing out those. And here is when I got my neon watercolor palette, my neon watercolors from Paul Rubens, and I also made a video about this. I'm not going to link all the videos above for all the pages here, but if you go through my channel, just watch everything. I love the colors, especially on this portrait. Her hair, I want that hair color. There's some studies of Brooke Shields after I watched that documentary about her. This is also a video that I made. And then on the right side, that's a Draw This in Your Style, which I really don't like. So I never posted that anywhere. Here I was testing out doing black metal corpse paint, but in neon colors. So this is sort of where the whole neon goth aesthetic came from, and my February zine is all about neon goth, so it explains a little bit more about what that means to me, and lists a bunch of music and movie recommendations. And then on the right side is some neon skulls. I just absolutely love doing this sort of like darker aesthetic in the bright colors. I love the juxtaposition of that. I think it's finally sort of a style that feels just like me. On the left side here, we have, actually both these pages are Draw This in Your Styles. This illustration, the portrait, was a Draw This in Your Style, and then I just added the elements around the things that would fit with that character. And then this was another draw this in your style, just the witch. And then I added in again little fine liner elements of things that would fit with that character. And I quite like that idea too. Here is when absolute icon Tina Turner passed away, and I just went straight to my sketchbook and I just had to paint a picture of her. I used a reference of a photo of her on stage, and the lights, the stage lighting was hitting the back of her head, and it's that neon color. And this beautiful quote, "You asked me if I ever stood up for anything. Yeah, I stood up for my life." Absolute inspiration. Adore her. Just such a huge loss. And these next few pages is when I made a video about art block and things you can do if you are experiencing art block to try and like bust you out of it. That page was about using Pinterest references. And then we had drawing your environment. So that was me sketching on my desk with the cats. Unfortunately, that view is going to be changing because the landlord wants to sell my property, so I have to move, which sucks. Then we had a still life, and then this was fan art. So I just did some alcohol marker portraits of Twin Peaks characters. The alcohol marker does bleed through on these pages. I actually don't have a huge issue with that. These are some fine liner drawings that I did on top. You can paint over the top and it does cover it up if that is something that bothers you, but it's just a sketchbook, like it doesn't have to be pristine. And then the picture on the right side, sorry, I got my left and right confused there for a second, was also a draw this in your style. So that was, yeah, a little girl sleeping with a kitten, and I just did that in fine liner with the neon colors. And I absolutely hate doing backgrounds, so I found just like putting down a wash of neon color and then doing illustration on top is a way to sort of get out of having to do a background but still having a background. So I did that, and then I was getting excited about the Barbie movie because the Barbie movie was just about to be released. So I did Barbie using all my pink art supplies. And I did this one and I didn't really love it. So I actually ended up doing it a second time and made a video about that. So this was after I'd seen the Barbie movie, and I just did some fine liner illustrations in my sketchbook. And then this was when I did Barbie again using all my pink art supplies, and I made both of these into videos. So I just used all my alcohol markers and pencils and paints and did like an 80s Barbie and the Rockers. And I had intended to paint Ken, but I only ever got to the pencil sketch. And this is what I mean, if you paint the other side of the alcohol marker portrait, you don't see the alcohol markers showing through. So that's just a way you can get around that if you want to use alcohol markers in your sketchbook. Here I just used some paint markers to put down some shapes and illustrated some hands on top just to practice some hands. This was another video that I made about making art that you don't like and how you can push through and how it's important. So I'd started sketching Brigitte Bardot and I absolutely hated it, and I was filming it for a video, and I had to get the video out, and I was feeling a lot of pressure, and it was only pressure that I put on myself. Like didn't need to be there. And so I switched the camera off and I spent a couple of days just sketching off camera, and I talk more about it in the video. But it was a really valuable lesson for me. And I just did these pencil sketches of Brigitte Bardot. She looks different in all of them, though. It's really strange how sometimes you can take a reference and just make it your own without even realizing it. Like, that looks like Gwyneth Paltrow. And that doesn't really look like Bridget, but that looks like Margot Robbie, but that was also a reference of Bridget. So yeah, I found that really interesting. But I ended up liking what I made when I took the pressure off. This was another video that I made about doing skulls, colored skulls using paint markers. I really love the way this sketchbook spread looks. They all look like stickers to me. Let me know if you want me to make some stickers, some colored skull stickers, and I can do that. This was another video about how I make collage, and it was a cute video because I talked about sourcing materials and took you on a little road trip, so go watch that video. And here is some little kitten illustrations. I was really into drawing with fine liners through the sketchbook, which I'd never really done before. So I just did some fine liner sketches with neon orange little outlines. And speaking of kittens, it's little Evie, my studio buddy. Day I was getting my car serviced, so I took my sketchbook down to the car place and just sketched some dogs. I was getting some ideas for more coasters to paint for an art market that was coming up, and oh my god, every reference I saw of a pug was incredible. I just wanted to do all pugs. Here I was just studying some anatomy poses, so I was just practicing anatomy. I actually create lots of different Pinterest boards, and I have them quite curated to different themes. So I have one that's just anatomy reference, one that's just hand reference. So if I ever want to just practice that one subject, I just go straight to those boards. Here I was experimenting with some paint techniques using a glove and then sort of smearing my hand through the paint and using it to create like a border to a painting and an illustration. So I've been doing a few pieces like that, and I quite like the effect that it makes and the randomness of it. This one, I just saw this picture of a model. We came up on a Pinterest recommended thing, Sebastian Kent, and I really like his face and his hair, so I did a few sketches of him, and then I was just working out some ideas for a commission. I felt like drawing snakes one day, so I just put down some neon watercolor backgrounds and painted some snakes. They make such interesting shapes, and I just wanted to capture some different forms. This was also another video that I made, and this is Bissan and Motaz, some Palestinian journalists. If you are at all engaged with current events in the world, you will know exactly who these two people are. And these, I felt, were the people that should have been named People of the Year. And I talk a lot about that in the video, but these were really important for me to paint. And then I started thinking about, I was doing a lot of double exposure photography in lockdown, and I've always been really interested in blind contour drawing. So I was thinking about how to use blind contour illustration elements over the top of a different style of illustration. So that's sort of what this is. So it's not double exposure at all, but it's taking those kind of ideas, and I actually thought I might make a zine of double exposure photography with this kind of artwork mixed into it as well. So that might be coming up. So become a Ko-fi member and I'll send it to you. So I just found some references on Pinterest that were hair, like lots of long hair, and I did the hair in the neon colors. I just added in some detail with pencil and then used a brush pen for the for the leaves. And speaking of the zine, Stung is the name of my zine. And here is when I finally came up with the name for it, and I was just testing out some different fonts and playing around with that. So yeah, it's really fun. I want it to be different each month. And on the left here, I was doing some more anatomy studies just with some words that had sort of sprung into my mind. And one was glitter is bad for the environment. That was just a thought that I had. And then my tears are hot and sting the back of my eyes. I unfortunately lost my cat Butters in December, and it's been really, really emotional and tough. Those pages are stuck together because that's a secret project that I'm working on. And here we have just some portrait studies. I've been looking a lot of 60s psychedelic art and playing around with the tears in like the neon, and yeah, some different kind of design elements and adding things that I would usually always do like straight portraits, but I've been experimenting a bit more. And I love a sketchbook that's got some notes in it and that sort of thing. While I do have definitely pages in here that are finished pieces, I think it's important to have like a working sketchbook where you can just be a bit free and get the ideas down. These are some artworks that I made for the Art Lover tier of my Ko-fi memberships. So they ended up getting a print of this. So that was really fun to make and send out to them. This was another video that I made, and this was about taking inspiration from old childhood photos of me in costume. And because that was alcohol markers, which do bleed through to the page, like I said before, I'd actually done this illustration on a separate piece of paper, and I just glued that in just to cover up the alcohol marker bleed through, and just did some little collage bits around the edges. And then I have my painting of Bella Baxter. Here I used the watercolors that I got in the last Upcrate box. I loved the color palette in that so much, especially this indigo. And I just did like washes of the watercolor on the page, and then did some pencil drawings on top using a white pencil to do the little skulls and skeleton for the darkest parts of the paint, and then just using other just regular color pencils to do the portraits. And I quite like the way these pages look. I think they turned out quite well. I've been experimenting a lot more in this sketchbook. And this is the last spread. So I did some portraits. I've been feeling pretty emotional, to be honest. My housing is insecure, and I'm trying to find a full-time job, and it's all a bit much. So I've been listening to Smashing Pumpkins and getting all emo and drawing portraits, and I was just writing down some song lyrics to the Smashing Pumpkins song Mayonnaise around the edges of this one. And yeah, and then here we have 2 portraits as well. This message is too deep to ignore, which is from a Lenny Kravitz song. And this is the last page of my sketchbook. So I'm really happy with, oh, and this is just all like stuff that I'd written down when I was at a market, keeping track of sales and stuff. But I'm really happy with everything that I've learned throughout this sketchbook. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for being here. I hope this sketchbook tour inspired you to grab your own sketchbook and try some new things. I'm really excited to get stuck into the new one and get it started. I think maybe next week's video might be starting the first page. I don't know, we'll see how we go. Please wish me luck in the job search and also the house hunting. It's incredibly stressful, and consider subscribing if you are not subscribed to this channel. I do lots of art subscription unboxings and some like chill tutorial type paintings and sketchbook pages, that sort of thing. Like this video if you liked this video. Check out my Ko-fi memberships and see if that's something that you would like to do as well to support me. So yeah, thanks again. I'll see you next time.